About life-threatening situations such as flooding and also wildfires. Well, joining me now is the security and intelligence expert, Professor Anthony Glees. Good to have you on the programme, particularly for this historic moment. Now, we understand that if it goes to plan, every 4G and 5G device in the country should emit this 10-second warning sound. Are you confident it'll work?
Well, it didn't work properly in Florida. The company Everbridge, that is also supplying this signal, got its contract removed just 2 days ago. It's a very big blow. Scared everybody witless in Florida when it went off at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I think the government's got to be fairly confident that it does go, and I'm confident too that it doesn't terrify us. So it's quite an exciting moment. The government is connecting directly through the mobile phone masts with each and every one of us who has a smartphone of one kind or another. It's a big day in that sense.
Yeah, we're talking about millions of phones, aren't we, right across the country? I mean, how complicated is it sending a signal to every smartphone in the UK?
Well, I'm not techie, but it clearly very complicated. As we saw in the case of Florida, and not just Florida, this has often gone wrong. So a signal has been sent when no signal should go. We're now going to see if, when a signal is meant to go out, it does actually go out. But that's just the most kind of superficial aspect of what will be a hugely expensive experiment. I mean, last year, Everbridge, the American company that's selling this software all around the world, not just to the UK or United States, they made profits in excess of $400 million and a 17% increase in what they're getting. So we're talking really big amounts of British taxpayers' money for this gig. And it may not be to everybody's liking. I believe in good security, and I believe in warning people in a timely and appropriate way wherever possible. But this kind of stuff, I think, definitely goes too far.
Oh, well, there you go. That's certainly our runner's phone, which we've put on the desk here right in front of me, and I'm sure you can hear that as well. Shall we have a quick listen in? Let's have a listen. Well, early. We should... First time we can say that about anything in this country. We're not talking about the trains, are we? I think we've got 30 seconds to go before 3 o'clock.
It was actually too early, to tell you the truth.
Did yours go off at the same time as well? Did yours go off?
Mine went off at the same time, but it's not 3 o'clock yet. It's a minute early, and that will be disquieting for some people. Did not go off exactly when it was meant to go off.
Right, OK. Well, it's now 3 o'clock. Let's see if we get another signal. We probably won't, will we? I mean, it was loud, wasn't it? And it was meant to be 10 seconds. That seemed like a very short 10 seconds for me. Actually, I can hear other people's phones going off in the gallery behind me here. So it looks like it's been staged. Were you expecting that, or is it a case that some phones are going to get the signal just a few seconds early?
Well, I weren't expecting, because it's never been done before. I mean, we've had checks during the COVID crisis, and very useful they've been too, at a time of major national emergency. But we've never had anything like this. And as I said before, it's very hard to know exactly what people want you to do in a real emergency when you get this. The text may say, in your region there's a fire, or in their region a terrorist, or in your region there's a flood. But then what? You know, do you kiss your backside goodbye? Do you run into a cellar if you're lucky enough to have one? Do you go into the street? The danger that this sort of thing can cause panic is probably as great as trying to keep people from getting into a dangerous situation. You know, I understand they have it in America. It doesn't work very well there. And I understand that it's an IT gizmo that you can sell to people and make a lot of money. But just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. And it puts the government in direct contact with each and every smartphone user. The government said they're not going to gather data from us. They're not going to misuse this in any way. But, you know, it is a step towards the Big Brother surveillance state. And I believe in mining mobile phone information to keep the people in this country safe under very special conditions, but generally giving the government a chance to call each and every one of us up nanny state does not begin to do it.
Yeah, well, you certainly sound sceptical. I'm just going to read out the little notice that's come with it, with the phone that I've got in front of me here. It says, "This is a test of the emergency alerts, a new UK government service that will warn you if there's a life-threatening emergency nearby. In a real emergency, follow the instructions in the alert to keep yourself and others safe. Visit gov.uk/alerts for more information. This is a test. You do not need to take any action." But the question that you raise is, in a real-life situation, if there was a real emergency, would people understand the information being given to them and the instructions being followed? I mean, Oliver Dowden was on Sky News a little earlier. Of course, he's the new Deputy Prime Minister, saying this could save people's lives. So maybe it's better to have a belt and braces approach here.
Well, I mean, one should never say no, but I don't see precisely how it can save people's lives unless it is very, very tightly focused on a specific area. I mean,
Well,
in
they were
Canary
talking about
Wharf,
wildfires or floods. You know, we've seen some devastating floods in this country recently. You know, flash flooding happens very quickly. You could target this to an area of the country where they're at risk of flash flooding and indeed people drowning.
well, I know that in theory you could do it, and the techie people who sold this to Oliver Dowding and other governments have been going on for more than 10 years. It's not just this government that's bought the idea. They're obviously being told, oh, you'll save lives. And as I say, if you're Canary Wharf or in the Palace of Westminster, this kind of alert could indeed be useful. But I don't see how you could make it that specific. And more generally, you could face all kinds of situations where the ordinary punter really would not know what to do. And panic, in many cases, panic is more dangerous than anything else. So I do feel this is a step too far, and I do feel particularly elderly people may be distressed and alarmed by it. And I think government should beware. Their track record with IT is appalling. People may remember, you know, we said there weren't going to be Brexit problems because the borders were going to be all smart technology and it was all going to be done with tracking, etc. Governments aren't good at this. They get sold stuff and it doesn't work. So good security, absolutely. Alerting people, absolutely. Particularly at times of crisis, absolutely. But in everybody's home, I don't think so. Not in this way.
OK, we'll leave it there. Professor Anthony Gleeson, thank you so much for your time. Let's talk to Tom Cheshire, our correspondent, who's joining us from West London. We've had cameras up and down the country, haven't we, Tom? In West London, much reaction. Did you hear it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a cacophony, wasn't it? A bit of a surprise because it did come early. So people here looking at their phones. We'll ask everyone finishing their Sunday lunches what they thought of it. Guys, when that alarm went off, were you expecting it? Was that how you think it was going to be?
Didn't go off.
Yours didn't go off.
I didn't go off.
You didn't get one?
No.
Mine came later. Some of us came before us, so yeah.
And was it loud? Was it
Quieter than expected.
not loud enough for an emergency in that situation? Maybe next time they can do it. Come over here, guys. Was it as you expected? Did you know it was going to happen?
I knew it was going to happen, but it actually didn't go off with me.
Yeah, we had a couple
We feel victimised.
So around this table, some have been selected, some have been left behind, as it were. Yeah. And did you know ahead of it? I mean, there was some sort of briefing around it because it's the first time it's been used. Did you all know it was going to happen? Is it something that the message had got through?
Some did. I didn't personally.
I didn't know today either. No.
I had heard about it, but through people at work, not through any sort of notifications. And I thought the wording was a bit extreme.
In what sense?
Well, I think severe alert when it's a test is a little bit far. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. But not too much of an interruption to a Sunday afternoon. And a good way to finish a good lunch by the looks of things. Thanks very much, guys. So yeah, a bit of a mixed reaction. Lots of people not getting it there. I mean that's interesting because when you think about what this is, everyone in the country, well, 88% of people has a smartphone. So there's never really been so many people in the UK looking at the same thing at the same time. That's if everyone got that message. Of course, as we've been talking about, the government says that is important for safety in terms of warning of a terrorist threat. It can be more geographically located. Others pointing out there's probably fears around privacy. But it's got a very mixed reaction here in southwest London.
OK, for now, Tom, thank you very much. Tom Cheshire there, joining us live from southwest London. And That was the alert that you should have got just a few minutes ago, reminding you of an alert, but it being just an alarm at this particular occasion for you to swipe left, but listen for the future.